Apricot. When the word first appeared in the 16th century, apricot looked like something only the big friendly giant would eat, abricac. English borrowed abricac from the Portuguese or Spanish variant of the Arabic name for the fruit, albark, the apricot. But apricot's journey goes back farther than that. Arabic adapted albark from the Greek praeikokion, which itself took the word from Latin's pracax, literally meaning cooked before. The ancient Romans thought the pracax was a variety of peach that ripened early. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, OED, an earlier Latin name for the fruit was Prunum or Melon armeniacum, the Armenian apple, from where it was historically cultivated. Orange. Like many words, orange entered the English language through Old French, orange. This came from Old Provençal, oranja, which had borrowed the word from the Arabic orange. This in turn came from Sanskrit, where the word for orange tree was nranga. The word we use today is perhaps just about recognizable from the original, yet one has to wonder where the "n" at the beginning went. The most likely reason is something called juncture loss, a linguistic change. When French folks said, an orange, it is likely that people heard an orange instead and, little by little, that's what it became. Several modern European languages use a word we would not recognize as the name of the fruit. There is portokal in Albanian and portokali in Greek to name but two. The reason for this linguistic divergence is thought to be that Portuguese merchants were the first to introduce this fruit to these countries. Peach. Some think the word peach is first attested in the English language all the way back in 1184 as the surname Pech. This name is more likely from the French for sin. Despite fruit having a long religious association with sin, peach probably first appears in 1400, when pecas, and later pech, was used to mean the peach tree. Via French, the English pech was grafted from the Latin persica, short for persicum melon, or the Persian apple. Peachy was U.S. slang for great and of women, attractive by 1900. This usage probably stems from the fruit's luring shape or color, at least in the eyes of some beholders. Nectarine. A nectarine is a peach that lost its fuzz. Documented in various forms in the early 17th century, the name nectarine derives from a literary adjective, nectarine, sweet as nectar. Via Latin, nectar derives from the Greek nectar, the drink of the Olympian gods. Some think nectar is a Greek compound of nec, death, and tar, overcoming, alluding to the drink's mythical power to bestow immortality. So, you better stock up on nectarines this summer. Plum. A prune is a dried plum, but the word plum might just be dried prune. It's a very old word in the language, found as plum in Old English. Scholars can trace it back to Middle Dutch and Middle Low German prum as well as the Old High German fruma. The ultimate origins of these Germanic plums are disputed. Some think early Germanic speakers borrowed the Latin panem, a plum, possibly of a Near East origin. Panem also gives English prune. Whatever the roots, plum and prune originally referred to the same thing, the plum. They diverged in the 1400s, thanks to the phrase dried prunes. They diverged again, thanks to metaphor. Prune became slang for a disagreeable person, later an old person. Plum, meanwhile, became slang for something desirable, hence a plum job. Earlier, plum was a British colloquialism for £100,000, a nod to sweet sugar plums. Cherry. What do cherries and peas have in common? Yes, they're both small and round, but they are also both mistakes. Middle English mistook cherries, which came from France, as a plural word. It's not, but speakers made sherry, later cherry, the word's singular form anyway. English also did this to pea, the original, singular word was peas. The French cherries replaced the Old English ceres. Unlike peach, cherry does appear in an old surname, Chiromouth, cherry mouth. Cherries have long been associated with lips. Both cherries and ceres are ultimately picked from the Latin cerasum, cherry tree, and the Greek kerosos before it. Karasos might refer to a town in an ancient region of the Black Sea area of Turkey called Pontus. Romans believed one of their statesmen, Lucullus, brought cherries back from there, but it's possible that the town itself was named after cherries. Strawberry. Technically, the strawberry isn't a berry. So, does the fruit straw actually have anything to do with straw? Etymologists simply don't know. It's an unusual word, as the Barnhart Dictionary of Etymology explains. No corresponding compound is found in other Germanic languages and the reason for the name is uncertain. Some suggest its seeds, called akins, they're the actual fruit of the strawberry, look like scattered straw. Others that its slender stems, runners, resemble straw stalks. Raspberry. Like the strawberry, the raspberry isn't a true berry in the biological sense of the word. And also like the word strawberry, we don't know what its rasp is about. The word raspberry is found relatively late in English, attested in the early 1600s. An earlier form, raspis berry, might give clues to its origins. In Middle English, raspis was a sweet, pink wine, possibly from the Anglo-Latin vinum raspis. But this raspis remains unexplained. Suggestions include the French rasper, to scrape, referring to the fruit's rough appearance, and an Old Walloon word for thicket. Melon. Like blackberry, watermelon is another summer fruit whose name is straightforward, thanks to its light juice. But melon seems anything but a melon. Etymologically, it's basically apple pumpkin. Passing into English from French and Latin, melon ultimately comes from the Greek melopipon, joining melon, apple, and papon, gourd. Papon is a form of the Greek verb to cook, as we saw with apricot. The notion is that melon was cooked, or ripened, by the sun. Papon is also the source of the first part of pumpkin. The kin is a diminutive suffix also seen in napkin, which we definitely need when we eat melons. Honeydew. Due to its sweet, ivory green juice, this melon is likened to honeydew, a sugary, sticky liquid secreted by insects, often on plants. According to the folk etymology, people once believed this honey-like substance materialized from the air like dew. Honeydew melon is late to the English record. The Ode first cites it in 1916. Cantaloupe. This melon also owes its origins to the Middle East. Legend says it was brought from Armenia to Cantaloupe, a former papal estate outside of Rome where the fruit was grown. Legend has it that wolves once gathered and howled around this area, hence Cantaloupe, the singing wolf, joining Latin words for saying, canter, and wolf, lupus. But while most etymologists agree that it's probably named after a place called Cantaloupe, it's very possible that the papal connection is a myth. No matter what, the English language didn't start howling over its orange flesh until the mid-1700s. Lemon and lime. Finally, these seasonal citrus fruits go well together in poolside drinks, but their names originate in places we don't always associate with water. They both were squeezed into English from French, then Spanish, then Arabic, and finally from the Persian limon, a collective word for citrus. Lemon, appearing around 1400, predates lime in the English record by over 200 years. A lemon is also a substandard car, usually passed off as in good condition. Describing something bad or flawed as a lemon dates back to the beginning of the 20th century. This usage might originate in American criminal slang of the early 1900s. The smarter con man could suck the juice right out of a lemon, a sucker or loser. More likely, the slang is because the lemon leaves a sour taste, unlike so many of the delicious fruits in this article and their scrumptious etymologies. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe to our channel Test Your English Grammar for more videos regarding English grammar.